talk like a king. You can act around now, say the same thing. They chasing the fame, they got want the name, but they ain't got what's running through these veins. Make way for the king. Big rings, big rocks, big bag, big moves, big cars, big man, big plan, get lost, we been this wrong. Look at me now, they can't hold me down, so give me the crown. We're not the same, we're not the same, we're not the same, we run everything. We're not the same, we're not the same, they ain't got what's running through these veins. Make way for the king.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Mustang Media. I'm Aaron Knodel. Joining me tonight is Coach Dan Wolf. Dan, we got Wahpeton coming into town, and it is a little bit earlier than anticipated. We're out here at 4:30 for a varsity matchup. A little bit odd in timing, but it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, it certainly should be. As we're heading down the stretch here, it's hard to believe there's only a couple weeks left in this season for the EDC regular season, and both teams, you know, fighting for standing, trying to be one of those teams that's going to get to host a play-in game on that first Saturday, and I guess at the end of February. So a big game. Mustangs lost the first meeting of the year down in Wahpeton, so certainly an important game and matchup tonight for both squads.
Yeah, that head-to-head matchup can be really substantial here. We're going to take a look at the EDC standings as they sit right now. And, Coach, you see, other than Davies, which is kind of holding pretty steady to that #1 spot there at 16-2 overall, 18-1 in the conference in terms of points, you know, there's going to be, I think in these last few weeks, a lot of teams sitting at a seed right now that they won't finish at. And this game may play pretty substantially in how that looks.
Absolutely. And you know, as you look at it, we know this game tonight, but we know Cheyenne's got Central and North yet. You know, and it seems like every team probably has a game that they feel like they have a chance to win, and maybe a game that they think we're going to have to play awfully well to have a chance to win, all in that effort to try and improve that seeding. And I think you're right. You know, Devils Lake probably is the surprise standout of the year. I don't know that a lot of teams or coaches would have predicted that they would have been sitting at 4th in the EDC standings this late in the season, but regardless, that's where they're at. Shanley with a chance to potentially catch them, maybe Central. And then when was the last time you saw West Fargo High School and Cheyenne High School in the middle of the pack of the EDC standings?
And you know, that's a testament to the way the EDC looks right now, but you see Cheyenne sitting at 9-10 right now, Wahpeton a few games behind them. And you said Wahpeton had the better of them the first time around. What's going to be really interesting is obviously you get those 4 teams that get that kind of pass through without having to play the play-in game, but everybody below those guys is going to have to play to get into that EDC tournament, and that's what's going to be wild about this, because the fluctuation between that 5 seed and the bottom seed, really you're going to see a lot of matchups that might change in the last few weeks, and that matchup will be the determining factor on whether or not you move on.
Absolutely. You might always expect, well, a 7 seed's going to be the winner against a 10 seed and that sort of thing. I don't know that that's necessarily the case this time.
I wouldn't think so.
You might think, Valley City and Horace, yeah, they're definitely at the bottom of the bracket, but I think once you get to that 10 down to 5, that could go any number of directions. And you're playing for your playoff life. You got to win that first one, and then, anything can happen after that. You catch a little confidence, you get a little good luck along the way, something good happens for you, and suddenly you might find yourself in one of those state play-in games that Saturday to have a chance to go to the state tournament this year.
Yeah, you really can't tell. And so we're going to look at, this game specifically. If we pull up the keys to the game here, this is going to be an interesting matchup tonight because a little bit of a revenge factor. Mustangs went down to Wahpeton. Maybe some people surprised by the Wahpeton performance early in the year. They were able to perform pretty well against the Mustangs, come away with a win. So there's 3 keys that we define tonight that I think are going to be important for the Mustang win. The first is interior defense. The last time we played, Manick scored 30 points and had 11 rebounds. We have to limit that tonight.
Oh, absolutely. And he's not the biggest of guys. He only goes at 6'4", but he's so athletic and
jumps
leaps
out of the gym.
Yeah,
Yep.
And so this is something that's been a recurring theme for the Mustangs, is controlling the defensive boards. As many times as you can limit your opponent to getting only one opportunity down the floor, you're going to be in good shape.
The other two keys to the game, I think, are related to what we saw from this great performance out of the Mustangs over the number 4 team, Devils Lake. They were able to come away with a win. Two great things there. They got to keep shooting hot the way they did the last game. They shot 47% from the floor, 82% from the free throw line, and they had 23 assists. The other thing I think that was unique about why they won, death by 1,000 cuts. They had 11 players scoring double figures, and I think that is – or only 3 players in double figures, but 11 people got into the scorebook. That is incredible.
It was easily the most complete game. If you followed this team this year, that was the best game they played from start to finish. They didn't have that 2-3 minute lapse in concentration that really hurt them. And we've said on multiple occasions, this team lacks a true scorer, the way Mike Nile was, the way Jackson Money was, or Jaheim Leak. And so if you're going to win, that's how this team is going to have to do it. Lots of guys have to contribute. Maybe 1 or 2 get hot for the night, but it ain't going to be just 1 or 2 guys that's going to be the difference.
Absolutely. So we're going to take a quick break here, go to commercial, come back after the national anthem, and we'll see the starting lineups, talk a little bit more about how this early 4:30 matchup is going to play out.
Here, when our path takes an unexpected turn, we keep moving forward. When life sends us a message, we listen. When you're determined to beat the odds, we help you plan for what's next. This is commitment, resourcefulness, determination. These are remarkable people doing remarkable things together.
I think what makes Touchmark special is how you feel when you walk into Touchmark at Harwood Groves. We often hear that it's like a North Dakota hug.
I think it's the people that make Touchmark special.
One of the things that makes Touchmark is the caliber of the team members here.
You could ask them for anything, and they'll say, we'll take care of it.
Every day that we walk in these doors, we really take time to listen to each other, to listen to our residents, and to be there and to be a friend.
So fans, welcome back here as we get introduced to the Cheyenne cheerleaders, and we're going to get the starting lineups as well. Coach, how do you feel about this 4:30 start time? Is this going to be an adjustment even mentally or kind of emotionally for these players playing in that earlier slot?
I think to a degree it is. You get up and you kind of have that routine on game day. You go to school, maybe you go home, you get a snack, maybe lay down, rest for a little bit, that sort of stuff as you prepare for the game. But with a 4:30 start, everything's kind of thrown on its head. Certainly it's true for both teams, but I would think to some extent maybe it should favor Cheyenne in that they had kind of the normal day, what they would have done anyway. But one thing that could be a positive of it, with that EDC tournament coming and having to get multiple games in and potentially a state tournament, you're going to have to get used to playing at a 1 in the afternoon or a 2:30, 3 o'clock sort of time slot. So this is a little preview of what these teams might face as the EDC tournament and state tournament progress.
Yeah, a little bit quieter gym tonight with the earlier game, and plus we have a really busy night in just Mustang athletics generally. There's the duel at the pool tonight, at last home meet for the boys swim team, and we have an EDC hockey matchup against Fargo North with the hockey boys, and And so there's a lot of things going on tonight that might play into kind of the energy in this gym. So the Mustangs are going to have to bring it here if they want to redeem themselves after the last showing against the Huskies.
I would say the Wahpeton fans almost equal what the Mustangs have at this point. So you're definitely right. When you don't have that home crowd energy to kind of draw off of and get you going, you kind of have to be the ones that provide it yourself. And so we'll see if Cheyenne's able to do that coming out of the chute tonight.
So we talked a little bit about, there were 3 players in double figures last game. 2 of those guys are Casey Clemenson and Dylan Bile. So I think if you have kind of this early start to the game, you're going to have to look to those seniors right away. You see Bryce Kane in there. He's going to have a tough matchup with Ethan Manick down low, and so you're going to have the bigs, him and Tommy Oneman doing a good job trying to limit Manick. And I think, we had this in the keys to the game, didn't get a chance to talk about it a lot, but when the Mustangs win the rebound margin, they do well. Last time they didn't win that against Wahpeton. So if that turns in their favor tonight, I think we're going to get a W.
Absolutely, and I think, if you're Cheyenne, we've seen a concerted effort, at least at the beginning of the last handful of games, of them looking to get the ball inside to Kane and to Oneman. And I think that might be something they want to try again to maybe keep Manick on his heels defensively, and maybe they can get him into foul trouble, because he certainly will pose problems for Kane and Oneman with his quickness out on the post.
Deere a little too quick on both of those jump balls, wasn't able to get it, so Wahpeton secures the first one. So we have Kappas over there on the right-hand side at the three-point line being guarded by Clemenson, moves it over to the top now. That goes to Manick. It's a little pick-and-roll action. That's going to be a shot by Hockert. That one comes off and out to Dylan Bile, and he'll set up the offense. Pushing it now up the right-hand side of the court. Setting up, looking down low. Bryce Kane was sealing his guy for a second, but nothing doing there. Deere with it now. Top of the key, he drives.
This is one of those areas that Cheyenne was really good at in the last meeting against Devils Lake. Some patience on offense. We've seen them take kind of the first shot that presents itself, and that's not always a terrible thing, but they really seem to get in that habit, and I think it's going to be important that they continue to kind of work the clock and settle for the shot that they want, as opposed to just taking what they see, and there was a good example of that.
Yeah, a nice little crossover there by Deere, and he gets the first bucket of the night for the Mustangs. 2-0 lead here now. Manick backs down. He looks from point-blank range, throws it a little too hard off the glass. Gets a rebound and a kick-out three. That one also goes off the iron. 2 rebounds there for the Huskies. That's the rebound margin maybe starting a little bit strong in the favor of Wahpeton tonight. Now to the right-hand side again. Open for 3. He'll step into it. You see the strategy there by Bryce Kane is to let Manick pull that one from about 17 feet.
And that's what you can't have, is 2 guys fighting for a ball. You've already given up 2 offensive rebounds in this sequence, and then 2 guys fight for the ball and give the ball back right away in a possession to Wahpeton. So not ideal.
Yeah, 3 times now they've come away with the offensive rebound, and we get a point-blank look there for Wahpeton, but that fumbled briefly.
Or maybe got a hand in on there.
So Pinu with it, he hands it off over to Dylan Bile, and he's bumped at the top of the key. That'll be the first foul on the game. That one goes to Wahpeton's number 24.
Riley Timjan, I think.
Yep. So 16:25 to go early in this game. Nice drive again there by, and good feed. Point blank range there from about 5 feet goes to Clemenson. Nice find there by Deere. So Deere, good start to the game. He makes the first bucket, finds the assist on the second time down. So good start there offensively for the Mustangs, sharing the basketball, getting the bucket. See if Wahpeton can come up with one here now.
Well, let's see if Cheyenne's able to do something defensively here to hold them. I think they're going to get Clemenson on that one, or
looked like Clemenson may have gotten the ball at the top, but you bring that arm down. The refs see that all the way through. They're going to see if there's contact. I think that's what he got whistled for. So that's going to put number 23, Ethan Manick, to the free throw line. He is the 6'4" senior, the aforementioned player that had 30 and 11 the last time we met. So he gets his first point of the night at the free throw line. And boy, you can hear the emptiness of the gym at the free throws.
Hear that ball bouncing and every instruction given by the coaches.
So he makes both And now it is 4-2. Deer with a nice little look, but I think he was surprised by the closeout there and ended up traveling on the look at the 3 line and the attack. So it'll go back to Wahpeton here. Kappas with it. He'll look to set up. Clementson on him. Handoff, back to Kappas. He'll look for 3. That one off iron, rebound Deer. Out to Pinu. He sets up Clementson to attack. He gets all the way to the bucket, but he's closed out pretty hard by the Huskies, and that is tipped out of bounds all the way onto the other side of the floor, and that's going to stay in the possession of Cheyenne here. It's not often that you're inbounding on the other side of the floor with 17 on the shot clock, but that's where we sit.
Yeah, without any attempt touching the rim, Cheyenne can't afford to be too casual with this because we're already under 10 here.
Dylan Bile looking at it. He swings it around to Clementson, and he's bumped.
And they get bailed out on that one as Hawker gets underneath Clementson on that pass. Clementson really was going to have to just force something up at that point, so Cheyenne bailed out by Wahpeton's defense there and gets a fresh 30 on the shot clock.
Good attack there by Dylan Bile. He gets all the way to the right side. That little bump, I think, threw him off, and his layup goes off the side of the backboard. So back to Wahpeton. Open 3 there for Hawkert. Still unable to connect from 3 are the Huskies. Looking to push there, and that ball just a little sloppy. Ends up back in the purple possession.
Good transition defense by Wahpeton. Hands up in passing lanes, anticipating where Clementson was going with that. Tipped, and Deer had a chance to pull it down, but it ricochets off his knee and out of bounds.
So for those of you that don't know, Coach Wolf and I are golf coaches together. We coach against Coach Ralph there. That's coaching for the Wahpeton Huskies. I just got a text from their assistant coach, said, boy, I bet you and Wolf didn't want to spend your Valentine's night staring down at Ralphie on the sideline, so I got a little chuckle out of that during the last little whistle here. So, all right, Wahpeton with it now. Manick gets to about that 6-8 foot range, elevates, and he's able to connect. He's got all 4 points for the Huskies thus far, so 4-4.
He rises up so quickly that, even with Kane having a couple-inch advantage in height on there, he just can't match the quickness that Manick has.
I think that's one little disadvantage as we see Dylan Bile get all the way to the rim there. If you give Manick his space and he doesn't close that space, it's going to be harder to close on that shot. So Manick's kind of using that little bit of empty space to find his open look. Wahpeton curls the screen there. Nice little look from about 14 feet.
Nice shot by
Kappas.
Good touch.
So 6-6 now, under 14 to play in the first half. Little back screen there.
They need to look for Kane. He does have a mismatch there, I think, on the inside that they could exploit, but Pinu opts for the 3, long off the back iron.
Good attack there by Wahpeton, but close by Clementson. Pick and roll here. Good drive and a kick out. That's going to get an open look there for Tim John, and that one goes long as well. Wahpeton unable to connect from downtown thus far, but a couple of good looks.
Not usually an advocate for zone defense, but if Wahpeton shoots this way, that might be an option for Cheyenne tonight, and really maybe have some guys and some better opportunities for defensive rebounding and controlling the boards as we see Deer, good attack, unable to connect.
Fought for the rebound there, and I think they're going to say that one went off Deer, so a couple of substitutions in for the Mustangs, a couple of sophomores. That is Tommy Oneman and Sully Irie in for the Mustangs, and Noah Olson sneaks in there as well. I didn't see him. Wahpeton makes in a couple substitutions as well, so the first real substitutions of the game come at about 12.5-minute mark of the first. Into the corner now. Oneman lets him pull. That one goes off the iron. There must be something, Coach, that coaches decided after maybe their first time through, or after playing down in Wahpeton, or maybe looking at some game film, they seem to be laying off the Huskies quite a bit here.
Yeah, I would agree. I think they're letting them get their shots from outside. But when you had guys, when they're able to get penetration, and that, as we see Manick get in there and get a good look, unable to convert, I think that's where Wahpeton does more of their damage. So I think you let them get their shots from the outside, and if they beat you that way, then they do. And they're going to get Olsen on a charge on that one as his momentum carries him into the Wahpeton defender as he looks to kick the ball out to Irie.
Yeah, you saw it on the replay there. Maybe a little bit of his right shoulder buried into the chest of the defender. Not too much. He wasn't able to kick it out. Unfortunately, Sully Irie hit the 3, but it doesn't count. 6-6 still. So 2 fouls each for both teams. Wahpeton working the left side right now. Back to the right. Attack, but I think they're going to say a travel call before any contact. I think that was Jaden King that called for the walk. So Irie now to set it up. Irie played real great down the stretch. Oh, as we see a pivot move and a hammer dunk. That's the way to get things going at the 4:30 start, Coach. Get Tommy Oneman going on a pivot dunk.
There you go. Got the student section, all 6 of them riled up down there.
And we saw that from him the last time. If you can get that energy plays like that, it's worth only 2 points, but boy, emotionally, it's a big advantage for a high school basketball team.
It absolutely is.
Oh, he checked there for Sully Irie. He goes from a deep 3, but Manick now, he's going to work Tommy Oneman into that 8-foot range and decides to opt against it. Kick out here, attacked by Mauk.
Nice floater.
And he is able to finish. So good finish there by Mauk. 8-8. Another look inside. Good drop step there by Tommy Oneman. If they're going to play that right shoulder, Coach, it looks like he's sealed high enough that he can get that all day long. He's got a dunk now, and he walked that one in for a layup. So,
and with that high seal, as Manick gets him to bite on that pump fake, I think that was an issue that we saw both Bryce Kane and Tommy Oneman have against like Fargo South and against Grand Forks Red River, dribbling into traffic in there, and that really caused some trouble for them, and they turned the ball over. But when you seal that guy so high and it's just a simple drop step, that's a much easier way to go.
Yep. Mustangs with the offensive rebound. Casey Clemenson looking with it. Now it's back to Irie. He's looking down low, and again a pivot, spin. This is a big boys game tonight as we see Manick and Oneman going back and forth here. Manick with it at the top of the key here. A little bit of space again. This time Tommy Oneman does stay down, and that does alter the shot there by Manick.
And after that previous attempt when he bit on that pump fake, Coach Brandt was telling him, stay down, stay down. Tommy does have the length, enough length to still impact that shot without biting on that pump fake.
Noah Olsen there with the pull from 3 in the corner, and that one goes off iron, so Wahpeton back with it now. Left side. Good rip there by Casey Clemenson. He wins the race, and probably fortunate for Wahpeton that they call a little bit of a touch foul on Clemenson because he had full lane all the way to get a layup there. So maybe a smart foul there by Mauk. That is the third team foul on the Huskies, first on Mauk.
We're going to see Turo Moni enter the game for the Mustangs, giving Clemenson a break.
Turo's added some nice minutes on it. He didn't get a lot of varsity earlier, but, this is the shot right here that he can hit.
Good job by Olsen fighting for that. Unfortunately, Deere unable to gather control there, and he dribbles it out of bounds.
Moni's got that nice high shot. He puts it right at the head before he releases, and boy, he can stroke the 3. He hit some shots the other night against Devils Lake, both in the JV and the varsity. So great shooter. And he's got some size, so this might be a good matchup for him tonight. Wahpeton with a little bit of a push, and he gets away with it, and they are able to come away with the offensive rebound, and that ends up for the kick-out 3, and that's the first 3 that is actually able to connect for Wahpeton. That one's Hawkert, and now they got a 3-point advantage. Coach, right now the story for me for the Mustangs is the offensive rebounding of the Wahpeton Huskies. Unable to put that to bed early on in this game, and Wahpeton's really kind of made them pay. Yeah, they really have. We talked about the importance of that, and we've seen Hockert and others go ahead and get offensive boards, and that just gives them extra opportunities, and that kick out on the last one hurt them, as we see Tommy Oneman get the soft touch and gets that to fall inside. But they're going to have to do something as Wahpeton starts to heat up, as that's 2 in a row for Hockert. You're going to have to control the defensive glass. Right now the Mustangs, Oneman's got half their points with 6, top of the key. And you would think this is a point with Manick on the bench, that you should be able to get some both offensive rebounds and control the defensive glass, but not happening right now for the Mustangs. Mustangs unable to stop him at the rim there, but the layup does not fall. And they're going to say, actually, correction on the call. It is going to stay in the hands of Wahpeton. And again, Coach, that's another shot attempt that stays put with a tip out and effectively what turns into an offensive rebound for Wahpeton. Down low now. Working Tommy Oneman, and he's able to block it. But knocked free. No foul called. So Wahpeton, I think they got 20 on the shot clock. I'm not sure if they did reset it. Yeah. Okay. So they did say full exchange of possession there. As we see Wahpeton kind of cornered there, as we see another attack, and that's going to be a travel, I believe. Yeah. That drags his pivot foot. Yeah. You see it right now, Coach. Tommy Oneman is adjusting, making a lot of players adjust their shots for Wahpeton, and that length will do it. And he's doing a nice job of holding his ground, not biting on those pump fakes. And, you know, when you're as tall as Tommy is and you get those wings up there, you don't have to necessarily go after every shot that's put up and trying to block that. It looks good on the stats. Over to Dylan Bile. He's been shooting well lately, but that one goes off front iron. Good rebound. Unable to put that one in is Caleb Deere. Wahpeton back with it now onto the right-hand side. Let's see if their hot shooting continues. There's another look from 3. That one rattles out. That would have been Hockert's third 3 in about 3 minutes. Poked free for a second. Irie back to the top of the key. Looks over to Deere. Pick and roll with Money. Over to the left side now, looking for Money in the post. They found him. Wahpeton collapses for a second, and great move there by Turo Money. Little pass fake out to Deere that the help defender bit on, and that opened up the lane, and Money strolls right in for an easy 2. I've told Turo this for a long time, but a guy that size, you get a little surprised by how quick his feet can be. When he gets to the block, he can spin quickly, and he got him there. So turnover there by Wahpeton's going to send it back the other direction. 14-16 now, 5:45 to go. Coach, pretty low scoring affair so far. It really is, and you know what we mentioned in the pregame is that scoring by committee that Cheyenne was able to accomplish against Devil's Lake is just not showing up as of yet. I did wonder too, I don't know if this is a huge factor, but you know, normally the kids get a fairly lengthy warm-up, and we didn't see that a lot today because they were kind of getting late into the gym, as we see Wahpeton with the steal and putback. And so now a 4-point advantage for the Huskies. Barry Pinu here, and kind of what's plagued the Mustangs all year is turnovers and, you know, giving up timely offensive rebounds to the other team. Thus far, that's probably what has kept Wahpeton in the advantage. Yep. And so we get the first time out of the game. He's going to talk about some of these things, see if we can right the ship on maybe just a couple of those factors. Some good things out of the Mustangs tonight, and some things that he probably wants to correct. So with 5:07 to go in the first half, Mustangs down 4 to Wahpeton, 18-14.
Mustang fans, Essentia Health is proud to be the premier partner of Mustang Media, working with Cheyenne High School to make a healthy difference in the lives of the students and families we are privileged to serve. Essentia Health, like nowhere else.
So 5:07 to go. The girls' game tonight is going to be taking place here in about a half an hour, so they got a little bit later start than the boys did. You know, for the girls, they're going to be kind of in a situation down the stretch too, where they want to make sure they hold their seed, as we see Dylan Bile shoot from the left-hand side.
Yeah, the girls want to make sure they lock up that 4 seed, make sure that they don't have to play a play-in game, and they can rest for a couple of days and work on some things once they know who their opponent will be. That is a big advantage.
Good move down low there. Momentarily freed up, but it's kicked out there and shot by Mauk, and his shot goes past the rim and off the glass. So Mustangs down with it here. Turomoni on the left side. He gets it back to Pinu, who will set it up. Poked away for a second, and Binu, I think, just said, I want to get rid of the basketball.
Yeah.
He was a little flustered, and
no one came to
threw it
help.
away.
Long cross-court pass, and no one picking up on that on the Mustangs, that he was in some trouble there and needed some help.
So Wahpeton with it on the right-hand side. That's Hawkert. He looks down low to Manick, and they do not connect on that pass. A little wide. I don't know if Manick just didn't see it as it was first dropped down and kind of snuck out to the right-hand side, or maybe he took his eyes off it momentarily, gets out of bounds, and turnover there by Wahpeton. 18-14, boy, definitely a low-scoring affair. If you're either of these teams, if you can get this into that 30-point range here in the next 4 or so minutes, you know, that's maybe a tall task, getting 16 points or 12 points.
Right.
But, boy, if you can get it to that 25, 30-point range, you might have a nice little lead going into the halftime break.
Good
you see
feed.
Wahpeton dropping it down, and a little bit of a dangerous attempted block there by Dylan Bile. Yeah. Probably more so for Bile than for the
defender or for the Wahpeton player.
But that's going to get mocked to the free throw line on the foul by Deere. So 14-18, and we also don't have a lot of fouls from either team as well. So clean game thus far, 3 fouls for each team as we see Mock hit his first.
And this is something, too, you know, that you mentioned, you know, if you could put a little scoring run on here, it'd be in good shape for halftime. But now Cheyenne's down 6, and this is a position that's been far too common for them as this season has progressed, where you're going into that halftime where you're down 8, where you're down 10, and that's just a lot for this team without that pure scorer to come back from. And so they need to hold this close as much as they can as Deere releases from his spot on the floor in the corner and cuts it to 3.
Good shot there from Deere as we see an attack by Wahpeton. Quick shot, but again an offensive rebound and a tie-up. But it appears again, if you look at the replay, that the Mustangs, 2 of them should have had that basketball, and it ends up in the hands of.
Watching that ball instead of initiating contact with someone in the opposite jersey, just to and then worry about finding that ball up high. They're watching the ball go off the rim and having trouble with that as Oneman's going to pull the trigger here.
He's got a soft shot, but that one goes off the back of the iron. Mustangs really only found one outside shot so far, and that was the second attempt there on the last possession by Deere. Good to see the first one fall through. Maybe you can get hot here before the half and kind of get things moving. Bile goes to the bench. So we have a couple bigs in for the Mustangs in Bryce Kane and Tommy Oneman. Wahpeton running through a couple of high screens there to the right-hand side, poked away by Deere. That was Hawkert with it. Wahpeton at the top of the key here now. Quick ball rotation, gets a look right at point-blank range, and again an offensive rebound. 2 of them, in fact. So we said as one of the keys to the game is rebound margin. I'm not sure how it sits right now, but it can't be in the Mustangs' favor. It's got to be leaning pretty heavily in favor of the team in purple. Manick with it again. This time, nice closeout there by Tommy Oneman, and it rattles off the rim. Down 3 with 2:10 to play. Mustangs bring it up. That's Caleb Deere, right-hand side. He gets all the way to the rim. unable to connect. Oneman with the attempted putback, and now a 2-on-1, 3-on-1 that's pulled back out here by Wahpeton.
Good transition, D, getting back.
Kappas will set it up. Right-hand side now. That's Mock. Looking down low momentarily, back up top.
That's a lot of
space.
real estate that they're giving to to Manick on those shots, and he doesn't seem to want any part of it.
Clemenson seeing if he can go all the way coast to coast, and he throws that one off the iron. Good attack there, but again, recovery defense.
Good
I think
first step by Mauk, but just
really no option to get to the far side of the hoop when you got the 6'8" Oneman protecting the rim, so he had to put it up quickly and didn't have the angle. Down low to Bryce Kane. Pass goes a little flat and out of bounds, turned it over.
it's that pass that I don't think a lot of players practice anymore, that entry pass into the post, and probably a lot of guys don't work on the post moves as the three-pointers become kind of the focal point of what all teams do offensively.
We see the Mustang fans wearing their Stang section orange shirts tonight. Left side now. Good closeout, and again an offensive rebound.
And sometimes with long rebounds, that's going to happen, but it seems to be happening 3 or 4 of every 5 times for Wahpeton. And that's something Cheyenne's going to have to deal with. They're going to have to figure out a way to lock down the defensive glass, as Wahpeton's looking to milk the clock here a little bit.
Under 10 in the shot clock. Manick goes to the rim and draws the foul, so he'll get to the free throw line. That foul committed by Tommy Oneman. And that is just his first personal foul and only the fourth team foul on the Mustangs. No individual player, no team really in a troubled situation in terms of the foul game, and this might be the fastest first half I've ever seen, Coach.
Well, good news for
Manick
Cheyenne.
misses the first and connects the second.
Chance to get within 1 or 2 here on this probably final possession of the first half. See if they can dial something up that gets them the shot they want.
Kick out there, Clemenson. He'll pull for 3. That goes off iron. Rebound Deere. He's going to look, but that is tipped. They're going to call a foul. Little late whistle there. Foul on Mock.
Oh, yeah.
You see on the replay, it clearly was straight across the arm. So whether that was a hesitation in the whistle or not, that was the right call. Throws that one up to Oneman on the out-of-bounds play. Deere comes around with it, fake handoff. Kick to Olsen, and he'll look. That hits iron, and that's going to be the end of the first half. Coach, 17-21, Mustangs down 4 here to a scrappy Wahpeton Huskies team that has really kind of won the rebounding advantage pretty substantially, especially if you look at the offensive glass.
That's absolutely true. And with Cheyenne's length and athleticism, there really isn't a reason that should be happening. And I'm sure that's something Coach Brandt's going to talk about in the locker room here at halftime. Neither team exactly lit up the scoreboard in terms of shooting percentage or anything like that, but it's certainly those second chance opportunities that Wahpeton's been able to have that has been the difference in the first half.
If you're Coach Brandt, you're going to be talking about some of those things, seeing if we can win the rebounding battle in the second halves and flip that score a little bit. But for Coach Ralph, you got to be feeling pretty good about this first half.
I would think so, because you're probably not going to continue to shoot it as poorly as Wahpeton has, and you're going to end up eventually making a few shots, but definitely on the glass, they have done a fantastic job so far. Coach Ralph has to be ecstatic about that.
As we see the fans kind of engaging with some of our camera people over there, that's Kobe Walters. He's one of our Mustang media graphic specialists, and they're having fun here tonight. It might be a little bit of an odd game with an early start, and maybe we don't have the full fan section here tonight with the hockey and swim and a lot of the other things going on. But hey, 21-17, Coach. We're going to take a little bit of a break. We're going to see if the Mustangs, when we come back, are able to figure out this Wahpeton defense, able to figure out how to keep them off the glass, and see if the Mustangs can find a way to get the season split, or if Wahpeton's going to walk away with 2 wins over the Mustangs in the 2022-2023 season. So with that, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Here, when your future lies ahead, we help set you on the right course. When your whole world is about to change, we help you prepare for your new life. When staying healthy means staying informed, we help you find answers. This is perseverance, understanding, connection. These are remarkable people doing remarkable things together.
At Touchmark, we really take an input from both the community, our residents, and also our team members.
And there's something for everybody. It runs the gamut. You have the freedom to participate or not, as you choose.
I personally like to play bridge. I like their book club, all the concerts that they have, the music almost every day. We like everything that's here.
And you find it here.
Every day is a different day. It's really about developing programming that is meaningful and beneficial for everyone.
I'm Kyle, and I'm a trainer at Marvin. I work on the night shifts because it works with my schedule. When I first started at Marvin, I started in the forklift department. I was there for 3 months, and I saw an opportunity for a new position. I've never been at a company that has made me feel like they actually do care about my career and my career development. I've just had jobs in the past, and I really feel like this is the first time I'm actually in a career. Come join me on the evening shift at Marvin. It's a great team, and you'll have a lot of fun.
So welcome back, fans, to Cheyenne High School for second half action, which is going to take place here in about 3 minutes' time. Coach Wolf, the story of the first half for the boys was about rebounding, but down south in Wahpeton tonight, the girls are playing a game, and the bigger story tonight in terms of rebounding might be taking place down there. Maya Metcalf is just one rebound away from being the all-time leader in Cheyenne history in rebounds. She already broke the record for all-time blocks. Great accomplishments by a great senior, Maya Metcalf, somebody that we were both fortunate enough to coach. What a great accomplishment for her tonight.
Really is. Good things happen to good kids, and it's been exciting to watch her high school career and the way she's really blossomed in the past 2 years as a leader for the Mustangs program and for Coach Kenyon Wingenbach. We know she's signed her letter of intent to play at Minnesota State Moorhead next fall. So certainly good luck to Maya in pursuit of that record tonight, and to the Mustang girls playing Wahpeton. I was discussing with someone today about the Wahpeton girls, and they're kind of a scary team. They're a team that has a lot of talent, and even though their record might not show it in terms of the EDC standings, they're a team that you certainly can't be looking past, and it's always tough to go down to Wahpeton and pull out a victory.
So in terms of the scorebook in the first half here, we said there were 11 players in the scorebook for the Mustangs last time against Devils Lake. Don't see that tonight.
No.
Great job by the Wahpeton defense. Deere with 5, Oneman with 6, and then it's Bio, Clemenson, and Moni with 2 apiece. That's it. Total of 17 points. Really well defended by Wahpeton in the first half.
Well, and something that we see Casey Clemenson often do is get to the rim. That's the way he makes offense happen, by getting to the rim and getting opportunities either at the rim or going to the free throw line or drawing defenders and kicking the ball out. And Wahpeton's done a good job of taking that away. I wish we had something that would show the rebounding stats.
Yeah, we can see if we can pull that from Digital Scout. We'll probably pull that up and see how close that is right now. But
it doesn't feel like it would be very close, unfortunately, for Cheyenne.
For Wahpeton, not much better in terms of the scorebook, but they do have that 4-point lead. Hockert hit a couple of threes. He's got 6. Kappas with 2. Mock with he's got 6. And it's Manick, who they've done a nice job of containing here. He's 3 for 4 at the free throw line and a couple of buckets, so he's only got 7 points. He gave up 30 to him last time. If you asked Coach Brandt pregame and said, hey, Manick's only going to have 7 in the first half, you'd probably feel pretty good. Here we are down 4.
Yeah, I would almost venture to say he has as many offensive rebounds almost as points. And he's been the main driver of that, but there have been other Wahpeton players as well that have gotten offensive rebounds and extending those sequences for the Huskies, and they're getting multiple chances on offensive possessions, and that's something hopefully that Cheyenne has figured something out for this second half.
I'm going to actually compliment Coach Ralph. We'll probably have to edit that out post-game so that he doesn't hear me say nice things about him. But Coach Ralph, great defensive effort from his squad here. They have not given up a single free throw attempt to the Mustangs in the first half.
But played really hard defense, so they've been very active defensively, created a lot of steals, those sorts of things, but yet yielded no free throw opportunities for the Mustangs.
So we'll see how Wahpeton starts the first half as we see a dish down low from the aforementioned Manick, and he drops it down into number 30, Jackson Cluton, and he's able to put the first bucket in the second half.
Clemenson came to provide help defense for Bryce Kane, and that left Cluton alone.
We'll see if the Mustangs can answer, and they do. Three-pointer by Barry Pinu. See if the Mustang shooting can improve in the second half here.
Well, that's a good way to start it.
Wahpeton looking the right-hand side. Casey Clemenson gives up baseline momentarily, and a little back and forth from the corner, and that frees up a 3. And I believe that is the third three-pointer by Hockert. He's got 9 now. Good shooting night for Hockert, and that extends the lead back up to 6. Dylan Bile with a little hesitation move, and he gets all the way to the rim, and that will be the first time. Yeah, that'll be the first time the Mustangs, and to be fair, even if you look at that in replay, that was pretty good defense.
Yeah.
And maybe, Bile just took a really nice angle to the rim and was able to get his shoulder, at that right angle and does get to the free throw line. Unable to connect on the first one, however. And the second one is good. Dylan Bile is a very good free throw shooter. So if you can get a guy to the free throw line, that is one guy that you do want there. He will produce.
Little jump
Nice
trap there.
Yeah, and that does momentarily confuse Wahpeton, but they regain their composure and do get the ball into that 8-foot range there, and I think that is number 4, Hockert again. Good start to the second half for him. He's got 5 this half, 11 on the game. Barry Pinu gets all the way to point-blank range. Wahpeton with 4 purple jerseys under the rim, and somehow it ends up in the hands of Bryce Kane, but he's not able to make that one good. Good contest there by Kane on Manick. Right-hand side now as the Mustangs come back with it. It is Caleb Deere. He moves it over to Clemenson. He'll attack. He gets all the way to the rim.
That's what we missed in the first half. Unfortunately, he can't finish, but it was a good look.
Casey Clemenson is one of the best players at getting all the way to the iron. If he can able to connect on those, boy, he can have big nights. Good rebound there by Kane.
Hockert feeling it there.
Right-hand side now, Pinu. He drops down low to Bile, and Bile.
Good find.
Good job by Dylan Bile. That can be a tricky one coming back up from the baseline to have the depth that you need to turn and pivot and make that shot.
And I think
good awareness.
Good patience by Barry. Didn't try that dangerous diagonal pass. Bile smartly came over, and as you said, got open there, and they're going to get Bile here on that with the body on that little hand check. But good job by Bile coming under into the post and going up and converting.
So that is the second foul on Dylan Bile, the first team foul of the half with 15:07 to go. Left-hand side with it, looking inside to Manick, kicks it back out. Free throw line, back over to Manick. He looks wing, attacks Bryce Kane. Bryce Kane with the great defense there. But Manick just more powerful down low. He gets his offensive rebound and the putback and one opportunity.
He is relentless down there, and since he's so quick off of the ground, he often gets that head start on defensive rebounders. And as the shooter, you have a better idea of where that ball is going to come off of the rim to begin with, and he just keeps after it. And the lead's up to 7 now for Wahpeton.
Right-hand side, Pinu. He kicks it over to Deere. Good stroke by Deere, but that hits the back iron. Great rebound momentarily by Casey Clemenson. He does come up with it eventually.
Good effort.
You're going to need those effort plays to get things moving, and that effort play, that really you got to tip your cap to Casey Clemenson.
Yeah.
He moved 8 to 10 different feet to get that offensive rebound, and the kick out ends up in the hands of Barry Pinu. He connects on 3. Down 4, Mustangs 26, Wahpeton Huskies 30. We're going to take a break. So welcome back to live action here after the timeout.
Mustang fans, we want to take the time to thank Apex Engineering Group, who helps to make this broadcast possible. At Apex, we build confidence before we build anything. Find out more at apexenggroup.com.
Good defense there by Caleb Deere. Able to contest that shot, knock it free, and get the rebound. Barry Pinu to the right elbow of Clemenson. Great back cut and finish. Nice job out of the timeout there. Good call there by Coach Tim Brandt. And that does get the Mustang to only down 2, 28-30. Elbow look there for Wahpeton, no go. Manick with the back down. He gets all the way to the rim, contested by Oneman, but again, Coach, offensive rebounding.
Yeah, the Huskies always seem to have somebody flashing to the basket, looking to get in position, and the Mustangs just don't consistently get a body on them and box out.
Left-hand side now for Clemenson. Great spin move there. He gets all the way to the rim, kicks it out to Barry Pinu, who finds the window. Unfortunately, just hits the front iron and doesn't drop that three. Left side now with Manick. Pick and roll action. This one does get all the way to point-blank range for Manick. Nice little attack there on the right-hand side off the kick. An assist from Hawkert. So now 32-28. Barry Pinu over to Sully Irie. He'll stroke it. Back iron, no good. Mustangs unable to find that hot rhythm from the three-point line thus far. Only a couple threes made. Attack there is stolen away momentarily by Sully Irie, and the ball is loose. Ends up, I think, into the hands of number 33, Jaden King.
I think it was a clean block, but again, when that hand comes down, refs follow it, and oftentimes it results in a foul call, and that's going to put the Huskies at the line for two.
Yeah, coaches will talk. Hey, officials are going to look at your arm. If you bring it down, they're going to look, did you compete at the top, but did you bring your arm down? And you know, a lot of coaches will say, hey, the whistle's in their mouth for a reason, and when it's in their mouth, the first thing they see, they're going to react very quickly to that, and so you got to be real careful on your follow-through. So King is able to connect on that first one, and the second as well, so extends the lead back up to 6. That's kind of where we've teetered back and forth here for the last, 10 minutes of game time, and
Cheyenne gets it to a couple or three and just can't get over that hump.
We'll see if either team can find the offensive rhythm where they can maybe take a 10, 15-point lead here, as we see a nice little step back from Tommy Oneman.
Like he was almost losing control and still managed to get up a nice soft shot.
Good attack there, and now back to Manick. He's contested by Barry Pinu, who comes away with the rebound, and they're going to put a foul on, I believe,
that's
number
Mauk.
11. Yep, that is Mauk. And that is his third personal. Not that you would call that significant foul trouble, but that might be the only player that you're going to have to kind of pay attention to thus far in terms of fouls. Pinu with it, and he just hands that one over on the left-hand side, and we'll see, and he does. That is number 11, so after the foul, Mauk comes back with a steal and a score. And those are the turnovers that make you scratch your head, Coach.
Yeah, Wahpeton's done this all night. They play good pressure defense, do an excellent job of getting their hands in passing lanes, and you've got to be careful with that as Turomoni answers with a three.
There are a few people that big in the state of North Dakota that when they're shooting downhill are going to stroke it like Turomoni. You saw it there, great rhythm. And unfortunately, I think Noah Olson just got a little loose on his feet.
Yeah.
Coming around this pick. I think, you see it in the replay there.
Got
his tripped up. Yep.
Hung up, and he was trying to kind of regain his balance.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for him, but no real harm done thus far, except now that does put the Mustangs at their 4th team foul. So that, it's 11:28 to go. We didn't see it in the first half, but it'd be surprising if I think Wahpeton didn't get into the bonus this half, as we see a great little move there from Manick on the right block. 38-33. Sully Irie with it now. He looks over to Deer's side. Turomoni posting up. Now Turo's got the ball at the post. He's going to back his guy down. Great move there. I think they see a little bit of size mismatch in that Turomoni-King matchup. We'll see if they keep looking to that down low, Coach.
It's something that we've seen a handful of times from Cheyenne this year where they've gone big, either with Oneman and Kane on the floor at the same time, or now that Turo's starting to see some minutes, but having a couple of bigs, there's not a lot of size in the EDC. It's something that might work to their advantage, and as you pointed out, Turo being such a good shooter, as we see him knock down another three, that adds a dimension that just bigs aren't used to, having to go out and guard someone out there.
And you can see that from Turomoni. That's 8 points in just a short period of time. when he can get hot, and if you're going to let him shoot downhill and find some post action, he's going to have some numbers and nice minutes out of him in the second half thus far.
And Coach
he's
Ralph's
been the spark, and that's going to be what I would guess Coach Ralph is going to need to talk about here. So 10-12 to go. It is now a tie game. We'll be back in a second.
Manufacturing, it's not for the faint of heart. It's not sitting down, doing nothing, just flipping at a couple pieces of wood each day. We are building tomorrow's windows. We all know that each unit that we build makes a difference, not just for the customer, not just for the company, but for each other as well.
This broadcast is sponsored in part by Touchmark at Harwood Groves, a full-service retirement community complete with a health and fitness club, offering fitness classes, personal training, and more so you can stay active with your grandkids for years to come. Visit touchmarkfargo.com to learn more.
Hey, a little spark out of Tiromoni here. 8 points in a couple of minutes span, 2 threes, and a nice little post move. I think we're going to see a little bit more Tiromoni here in the next few minutes to see if they can continue that hot hand, Coach.
Absolutely. If nothing else, it's going to make a Wahpeton defender responsible for him. That may open up some opportunities for some Mustangs to get to the basket, see if they can get downhill and get to the rim.
Oh, poked away for a second. Noah Olson said, hey, take a look. I think that might go off the Wahpeton defender, but doesn't seem to be pushing his case too hard. And it does stay into the possession of Wahpeton in the corner. Tough place to inbound here. Let's see if the Mustangs decide to pressure, and they don't really. They let Manick get
the shot. Yeah.
And he's able to, and that's the downside, Coach, of playing off that far, because it gets the offensive player moving at a greater speed than the defensive player. They have to react, and you can get yourself to the free throw line because the defender is kind of playing catch up in terms of momentum.
Looked like Oneman got Manick's head to Oneman's ear there, and Tommy a little shaken up, but appears to be fine. You know, with Manick, we see him, virtually everything is to his right. Every pump fake that he goes, he still gets around to his right-hand side. It's hard as a defender not to bite on those pump fakes and those moves from one side to the other. But I think if Cheyenne can just kind of hold their ground and not look to try and block everything, I think there's an opportunity to shut him down a little more as this second half progresses.
And credit to Manick, too, not settling for little jumpers that the Mustangs are kind of tempting him to take. He's going right at you, getting right into your chest, and he's getting to the free throw line, making some buckets. Solieri at the top of the key now. Nice pressure there from the Wahpeton defender. Down low to Oneman. He looks for a post move. It's not there. Olson with it. Looks right back down to Oneman. He moves to his left-hand side. He gets all the way to point-blank range. Puts it up with the left hand. Is fouled.
That's going to go on Ethan Manick. That is his first.
Pretty good job there by Manick challenging him physically, but it's probably, again, that arm angle. You coming forward and you're bumping in the chest. They're going to see that and probably blow the whistle. So you keep those hands back and you bump the chest, they might not blow that one, and that does get on him as he's grabbing his John ear there. Tough kid, though. You know, a lot of kids, I don't know how many times you've talked about this on the broadcast, Wolfman, but Oneman, you know, he sat out all last year with a couple of knee issues and had surgeries. And, you know, it took some expectation maybe was it was going to take some time to just be back in that basketball competition state as we see some pressure from Wahpeton. He's played well, though.
He really has. Ooh.
I don't think the ball was
over the
possessed
line.
with 2 feet over the line yet, so probably a good no call. Tommy Oneman with a hesitation look, but Deere will take it. That one goes off the back iron. Great rebound there by Manick. Left-hand side now. Steffens with it. He goes all the way to the rim, and he's blocked. Good defensive play there by Tommy Oneman. Right-hand side with it now. Olson, he puts his shoulder down, poked away, but fouled on the right-hand side. So now 8:56 to go. 40-42, the scoring's picked up a little bit, Coach. Probably more in that 65, 70 point average that we're going to probably see at the end, but slow start, but it's starting to get a little smoother for guys like that. Nice move there, Oneman on his left side. Right-hand side attack here from Wahpeton. Ends up in a fadeaway. Rebound there to Tommy Oneman. Sully Irie to set it up. 8:30 to go now in a tie basketball game. Irie looks momentarily at the three-point line. Oneman to post. Irie into the corner. He's going to reset. Attacks into the middle of the lane. He goes left-handed. A great finish there from Sully Irie.
And that might be the first lead in 15 minutes of game time, 18 minutes of game time.
I think you're right, as we see a big screen there, drops Sully Irie to the ground, and we get Manick kind of chasing down. And somehow Wahpeton comes away with the rebound, first and a second attempt. That one is good, so 44-44 now, 8 minutes to go. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, Coach, we're going to try to figure out how this game's going to finish out.
There is no off-season for greatness. You do what it takes to stay in the game. And so do we. Our commitment is to keep you moving forward. Essentia Health, Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Like nowhere else.
Touchmark at Harwood Groves is located in South Fargo, North Dakota, on a 14-acre garden-like setting, and we have everything from cottages to apartments, a health club, activities. We tend to take groups of residents out downtown, which is just a very vibrant and growing community. The easiest way I can say it is we are going to treat our residents the way that we would treat our best friends. That's what it feels like, and that's what I love about my job. It feels like a family.
Welcome back, fans. 44-44 tie, 8 minutes to go. Mustangs with the ball on the right-hand side. Sully Irie, he looks to the corner. Olsen is open. Out of the timeout, that one goes long.
Good look. We know Olsen's had a couple of really hot shooting performances this year. He's had trouble finding the range tonight. And we've seen Wahpeton the last 4 or 5 minutes really kind of make their bread and butter on attacking the rim and causing Cheyenne players as Hocker pulls up for a three. I think that's his fourth of the game.
And that was a great shot there by Hocker, because that one was not, he was not able to step into that cleanly, and he's able to connect, kind of fading to the right and away from him. Tough to see that one go down if you're a Mustang fan, but great shot there by Wahpeton. So Mustangs unable to answer, and so now Wahpeton with a three-point advantage. Just taking a look at some of the other things to watch in these last few minutes of the game as Manick's able to connect on that one. Again, walks it all the way down and attacks right into the chest of Oneman, but kind of closing down shop here in these last 7 minutes. Each team with 3 timeouts left. 5 fouls for the Mustangs, 4 for Wahpeton, as we see Turomoni's shot go off the back iron. Wahpeton with another look. That shot is contested. And so Hockert not able to see that one cleanly. Olsen on the right-hand side, he holds it up. And he finds that corner three again. Still not able to connect, so he's struggling a little bit from those corner threes. We've only hit the one, with that was Deere in the first half. Hit a couple Turomoni threes here in the second, but not the same shooting effort that we saw against Devils Lake the other night, as Manick pivots from the right-hand side, and again, Wahpeton crashing hard. This time, they're going to say it's off of the Huskies. So 6:04 to go, down 5. So left-hand side now, a little congestion here for the Mustangs.
Well, and Coach Ralph changing it up a little bit, a little 3-2 look there off of the zone. And they're going to get Irie there as he's trying to keep that ball alive by tipping it. Asking the ref what happened, but
So now under 6 to play. Left-hand side attack, gets all the way to point-blank range. Rebound there by Casey Clemenson. He elevates for it and then attacks. Money with it. Back to Clemenson. Over to Irie. Looks down low. Back to Clemenson on the right side now.
There.
Good
Casey
attack there by Casey, and he's bumped.
I think they're going to get Kappas on that with a little body.
Foul number 5, Kaden Kappas, his first personal, 5th team foul.
So won't be shocked in the next couple of minutes if both teams get their way into the bonus. Cheyenne still, I think, with only those maybe 4 free throw attempts so far tonight. Just Wahpeton's done a nice job of playing defense and not fouling on shot attempts. Good ball movement there and a kick to Irie at the top of the key and unable to convert. Manick hauls it in.
So 5 minutes to go, and now here Mustangs down 5. You probably want a good stop here if you're able to close this lead and finish out the way you want to. Not that certainly down 5, this is a no-go zone, but you don't want this to extend and balloon into a 10-point game with 4 minutes left or 3 minutes left. Then you start seeing some things that, you know, start pressing yourself. A lot of time left here for the Mustangs, but they're going to need stops.
Yeah, that's going to start by controlling the boards here.
Kick out there and a poke away, I think, by Sully Irie. Stays into the corner for Wahpeton. As we see the joy in Coach Ralph's face, always happy on the elbow jumper, and he continues to be hot. If you're going to pick a player of the game tonight, it might be Hockert. He's shooting well. Clemenson all the way to point-blank range, and he's swatted away. Irie at top. His shot's long. Rebound Manick. Left side with it now as we see a 2-on-1. And that means Mock is going to get to the free throw line on the foul.
Foul number 21, Sullivan Irie, his second personal, 7th team foul. Trayton Mock at the line, shooting 2.
So now 4.5 to play. A couple of free throws here could extend this lead all the way to 9. First one does miss. Hear a little bit of rattling from the Mustang faithful in the student section there on the first miss. Second one does convert. So now an 8-point advantage with 4.5 to play. Mustangs are going to have to be efficient down the stretch.
This is a dangerous point for Cheyenne because this could turn pretty quickly if they're unable to get a bucket or two here and a stop on the defensive end.
Irie with it. Clemenson, and good find there for Turo Moni. He shot fakes and slips onto the right-hand side. Continuing to play well in this second half is Turo Moni. He's been the spark that's kept the Mustangs in it. Top of the key, Manick. Mock with it now. Hands it off to Kappas. Finds, unfortunately, a little bit of help from.
Yeah, Tommy left his position just a little bit to try and give some help. That opened up a passing lane to Manick, and he finishes at the rim. Good job by Casey Clemenson there.
Right down Main Street, you hear the PA address announcer that says that's a 2-point take there for Casey Clemenson. So 48-54. We'll stay here for this timeout, Coach, for 3.5 to go. You know, if you're Coach Brandt, how do you get things kind of righted in these last few? How do you keep I mean, you got to probably think to yourself, you can't let the Huskies get to 60. 65 is probably too many. Down the stretch, you're going to have to outscore your opponent here by at least 6 to win this game. What's the plan?
Well, I think, you know, account for 2 guys when you're on defense. You got to know where Manick is, and you got to know where Hockert is. You know, the rest of the guys, it's got to be everybody to the glass. We've got to control the defensive glass, give no second shot opportunities, no offensive rebounds. And then you don't have to take threes right away. You don't need to be in a panic mode, but there has to be that sense of urgency, and you're going to have to start getting some conversions. I'd like to see Clemenson looking to attack more. when he attacks. We've seen him both get to the rim and finish. We've also seen him find good passing lanes when a Husky defender comes to give help, and he's dropped it off to Turomoni. So I think those are the kind of the big things. Be aware of Hockert and Manick on defense, and then offense, just look to get some decent shots, but get to the rim.
Yeah, we saw timely shots out of the Mustangs in their win over Devils Lake. A couple by Sully Ivory down the stretch. You know, it's going to take some timely shots if you're going to be able to pull back into this game. We'll see if the Mustangs have it in them and who's going to pull that trigger. Good pressure there by Casey Clemenson at the top.
Little 2-3 zone action here from the Mustangs.
He does get his hand on it. A lot of pressure into that corner, but they let Manick get it. Swings it back around. Good recovery by the Mustangs and a closeout and a defensive rebound, and we have a little bit of contact there. Refs decide to let him play. Into the corner now, Caleb Deere. He looks to attack. And that's Turomoni open with it. And his goes long. Good rebound there by Deere. He moves it out to Clemenson, left side. Clemenson looks to attack. Nothing going. Left side again, Clemenson. All right, Mustangs will look to set it up on top. 20 seconds to go in the shot clock. Certainly a lot of time left on the shot. This is one where you probably want to convert, and they do. Great job there by Casey Clemenson on the left side. Little step through, now down 4. 2.5 to play. You feel a little bit of defensive energy out of this shift here where they've gone into a little bit of a zone, Coach.
Yeah, and it seems like the defensive intensity is picked up with this. Hands are in the passing lanes, and it's keeping Manick away from the hoop until that very time. Good job by Manick continuing to move. That's how you beat a zone. You keep guys in motion, and when you're not responsible for an individual man, eventually you find soft areas that you can attack.
Yeah, that's something the coach is going to have to look to. Tommy Oneman kind of let that go. You got to, and if you're in a zone, you got to have that head on a swivel as we see a shot go long off glass. And Wahpeton does come away with it with a 6-point advantage, 1:45 to play now.
Tough turnaround fadeaway jumper in the lane.
Momentarily looking at the three, but Ops not. Going to run a little bit of shot clock here. 15 to go on the shot clock. Flash at the high post, nothing.
There's Manick
on the high post, giving him plenty of room, and he kicks it out for an open three, and that one stings a little bit. Another great shot by Hockert, and he's been hot tonight. And now a 9-point advantage for Wahpeton.
Now you have to start thinking about threes, and you can't burn shot clock, unfortunately. Good Euro step through, but they're going to get Clemenson on the foul, but you're going to have to stop the clock at 1:08. You've got to have stops. You've got to have threes.
9-point advantage here for Wahpeton going down the stretch, and they are at the free throw line. Mustangs with their eighth personal foul, team foul, sorry, 8th team foul. That does mean that the Wahpeton Huskies will be in the bonus for this one and the next. And that one does connect. So one way to win basketball games, Coach, is when your opponents put you at the free throw line. And
And now it's a 4-possession game. This has got to be pushed with tempo and the first shot that presents itself here. But we know Wahpeton has defended so well tonight as Irie pulls up from 3 and unable to cash in.
Oneman tries to tip it out, but it goes right into the hands of the Wahpeton Huskies. And again, the Mustangs forced to foul here. Under a minute to play, and now Wahpeton with a 10-point advantage. Not the same kind of energy that we saw out of the Mustangs the other night against Devils Lake when they found their win. And maybe that's the one thing this year that Coach Brandt is frustrated most with is that inconsistency and trying to figure out how you can sustain kind of the energy and positive play that we saw the other night.
You know, last year during that impressive run by the girls team, someone seemed to step up every night and make a big shot when it was needed. Converted, did something special, and Cheyenne just hasn't had that for the boys. You know, we've seen lots of guys with good looks. It's not that there's anything wrong with some of the shot selection we've seen here tonight, but just no one is able to convert. And when you're not firing on all cylinders, when you're not getting your role players to contribute offensively, this team's going to struggle to put the ball in the basket, and they're going to have trouble putting themselves in position to win. And that's what we're seeing frequently for this team.
So now under a minute to play, as we see the fans taking some shots and the makeshift hoop that the cheerleaders are making over there, still having some fun tonight. But it's going to take a special finish here for the Mustangs to close this 12-point gap down with under a minute to play.
Yeah, this is an awfully tall task. It's hard to say it's impossible, but the odds are not favorable for Cheyenne. And the next foul for Cheyenne is going to be the double bonus for the Huskies shooting the rest of the way. So you're going to have to get a 3, a steal, a 3. But if you're having to continue to foul, or if Wahpeton's able to run any significant amount of clock, it's obviously done.
So off of the timeout here, under a minute to play, the Mustangs looking to do something quick. Into Pinu, he'll push quickly.
Good job by Coach Ralph, just some token pressure, just trying to slow him down. And they're going to concede looks to the basket, and they don't finish there. And so at 40 seconds.
Caleb Deere with the foul, so that seems to be, Coach, probably something that will seal the deal at this point. Great game here out of a couple of Huskies here that I think is worth mentioning. Caden Hawker really was special tonight.
You know, he struggled from the field early on, missed a few threes, and he thought, well, this is a team, you know, pack it in and let them have their 3 opportunities. And he really has turned it on in the second half. A lot of very difficult shots as well. It wasn't just wide open set shot threes. And then obviously Manick is just, he's so active and so athletic. He was the guy on the offensive glass for them that kept a lot of opportunities, second chance opportunities possible for Wahpeton. As we see Hockert smartly pull it out, and that'll be the end of this one. But, yeah, those 2 guys were the difference makers for Wahpeton tonight. But I think a good team defensive effort for Wahpeton. They just really shut Cheyenne down, really never gave anyone an opportunity to get going. Really, Turo Moni, with those few made threes in the second half, have been really the lone spark that stands out for me in saying, hey, we got something going offensively.
Congratulations to Coach Coach Ralph and his boys on a great win tonight, 63-50 over the Mustangs. If we can quickly pull up the standings from before this game, this actually is going to put Wahpeton now at 7-12 in the EDC. A little tighter now for closing in on the Mustangs in Fargo South. The Mustangs will fall to 9-11, 7-12 on the season overall. And so they have a couple of extra points because they had those 2-point games earlier. But, you know, again, when you're looking at the points on the EDC on the W column, you know, what separates Wahpeton now with 7 and Shanley with 10 is only 3. Coming down the stretch, like you said, Coach, you can see a lot of changes.
Absolutely still could see some changes here. But at some point you're going to have to start figuring things out. You're going to have to start playing consistently, and that's kind of been the tough point for the Mustangs thus far. We saw easily their best performance of the year just a couple of nights ago against Devils Lake, and this one I don't think Coach Brandt would rank as one of their best outings. You know, we've talked about their difficulty in scoring and not having that pure score, and just everybody seemed to struggle from the field tonight, and one way to compensate for that is getting to the rim and getting to the line. I think we only had 4 free throw opportunities for the Cheyenne Mustangs tonight. So if you're not making threes and you're not making twos and you're not getting to the line, it makes it really difficult to have a chance to win.
Well, you know, it is only 5:46 because of the timing of this first game, so you have plenty of time to head over to the Fargo Coliseum and cheer on your boys hockey team who is playing the first round of the EDC tournament. So opportunity to you know, catch a couple of games tonight. But for this one, certainly a little disappointing for the Mustangs. Probably going to have to regroup real quickly. Got a couple of games next week that are going to be really important.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no time to feel sorry for yourself or anything like that. Everybody's in the same boat. The season is coming to an end. You're going to have to, you know, dig in and figure out a way to what can we adjust? What things can we fix? Is there anything that can be tweaked? But you're deep into the season at this point. You can't, revamp everything in a short period of time. You just need to execute better than you have been doing. And the good news for Cheyenne is the fact that, indeed, this team is capable of it. We know they are. We've seen them do that. It just was one of those off nights.
Well, with that, we're going to wrap up our broadcast tonight. Thanks to all the crew producing and all the camera people making the quick adjustments, knowing that their schedule changed a little bit just with the players. So I appreciate all the efforts tonight. It is a Wahpeton victory tonight. And so with that, I'm Aaron Knodel.
I'm Dan Wolf.
We'll catch you next time on Mustang Media.
They say I walk like a king, talk like a king. You can act around now, say the same thing. They chasing the fame, they got one the name, but they ain't got what's running through these veins. Make way for the king. Make way for the big shots, big balls, big rings, big rocks, big bag, big moves, big cars, big man, big plan, get lost, we've been this wrong. Look at me now, they can't hold me down, so give me the crown. We're not the